Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday, late afternoon, June the 20th, 2021. I would like to welcome everyone to the show today. I hope you're all doing well and that you're safe. And this is Father's Day, and I would like to wish all the fathers out there happy Father's Day. I hope you had a good day. And this is my weekly update that I will be putting on YouTube. We're going to go over methane, sea ice, and a couple of other things. I've got a couple of articles I'm going to share. And if you would like to see updates during the week, you're welcome to join us on my Subscribestar channel. The link is in the description box below. I've started taking a couple of days off a week from doing videos, but I post something pretty much every day over there. And I do videos during the week there. I do a midweek climate roundup video, usually on Wednesdays, where I go over pretty much the same items that I go over on Sundays as well. So let's get started. My big focuses that I've kind of specialized in reporting on, there are two areas, methane and sea ice, and I track the Arctic and the Antarctic on the sea ice. And those are the two big areas. I also report on earthquakes, and there are other things too, but pretty much I'm the only one really showing data on the methane and really going in and showing a lot on the sea ice. So here we are. This is my third year of doing this. Let's see. I started in 2018, so going into the fourth year here. So yeah, this will be my fourth summer of reporting on the sea ice. So here we have the NOAA data for methane. This is the Met-1 satellite in the morning for the 19th, or yesterday, and I'm tracking this 477/469 millibar reading. The mean or average was 1909 parts per billion. The high reading was 2528. Notice the pink colors down here in the southern hemisphere close to the Antarctic. There's been methane coming up around the coastlines on the Antarctic. We're going to look at that too. In the afternoon, the mean was 1907. The high reading was 2343. On the Met-2 satellite in the morning, the mean was 1890. The high reading was 2327. In the afternoon, the mean was 1887. The high reading was 2289. Here's the spreadsheet and chart where I've been tracking all of this. I've been tracking methane on NOAA since March of 2019. So here's the average for the 19th. Comes out to 1898.25 parts per billion. We're showing a decrease of 2 parts per billion this week. And so here's our chart, and we can see the line going down. It had just last week we just barely went over the 1900 mark, and then it was hovering around the 1900 this week, and then ended up going down a little bit, but going down is okay, and we expect some stair-stepping. As we've noticed in the past, it doesn't go straight up or straight down, but the trend is a general upward trend, and we're 20.5 parts per billion higher than a year ago. I track this on a daily basis now, and we're 41 parts per billion higher than we were on March the 1st of 2019. Way down here, see, was under 1860, and now we're flirting with 1900. And if you look at this time last year, we were way down here. We were under 1880, and so we're 20 parts per billion higher. And we're in the warming season now. And this is the summer solstice as well, meaning it's the longest day of the year for the northern hemisphere and the shortest day of the year for the southern hemisphere. Let's see what happened this week on methane. So here we were on my report last Sunday for the 12th. We were at 1900.25, and it had gone up 3.75 last week. And then on Sunday it went down 0.25. Monday it went down 1.25. On Tuesday it went up 0.5. Wednesday it went up 1. Thursday it went down 0.25. Friday down 0.25, and then Saturday down 1.5, showing an overall decrease this week of 2 parts per billion. And we have all kinds of sources of methane, and I was just sent a new article about methane being produced in landfills, that's one of the newest places that they're finding it, because they're not covering it up with dirt good enough and doing vent holes and I don't know what all. So, like Dr. Guy McPherson says, society is a heat engine, and with that comes methane and all kinds of other things. So there's that. Before we look at the CAMS data, I've got a couple of other NOAA pictures I want to show. We had a spike this week on the 16th. Methane spiked on both the morning readings on the MET-ONT1 and MET-ONT2 satellites. The mean here was 1911, but look at this high reading, 2778. So it means that somewhere on this pink area, somewhere, and I don't know where because I don't have access to the inside information, we spiked out at 2778 at this level. And then here's the MET-ONT2 satellite reading in the morning. The mean was 1891. The high reading was 2753. So it's both of them spiked. So it's that's a big deal. I don't remember seeing both of them spike the same day. So I don't know. Just we had extra methane there. I just thought I'd show that. Now we'll move on to the CAMS data. I have Saturday the 19th pulled up, Arctic view and surface level ready to go. There's our color ledger at the bottom. So the data is for Saturday, and the forecast period is Sunday through Wednesday. So we went down, what was it, 2 something this week? 2 parts per billion. And we can see that reflected in not as many greens. It's more blues. See, and see, still billowing here at CAMS NOAA. And we've got some green waves moving out across, but it's not solid green, which that's kind of a sign that it's gone down somewhat. We still have really high readings in specific areas, and we are in the warming season. We're seeing all of these Scandinavian areas come back to life. It's really high. See, it's filling up with that dark color, that reddish brown, and this is a range of 2160 to 10,000 parts per billion. So it's anywhere in that range, and where we see these dark colors, including what's coming up here in the Laptev Sea by CAMS NOAA. And look at this problem area here in the North Atlantic. Watch it in the forecast period. It's going to really billow up. Look, there's Tuesday and Wednesday. It's billowing there. We can see the interior of Alaska really coming back to life, and as it's heating up, there's a lot of permafrost that's thawing all across the Arctic. And the Arctic Circle is from 66 degrees north latitude up. And so there's just lots and lots of permafrost, and as that thaws out, that releases carbon and a lot of methane. Now let's go to the North Pole view. We can see the whole northern hemisphere here. Got some high readings in Europe. Let's see, look down here. It's this is northern Italy. Here's the Persian Gulf. Now India, it's starting to fill back up. Here's China and Korea, and we can see this big dark blob spreading out from the China coast all across past Korea. See, it's like a big, I don't know, just a big blob. Japan's filling up. North China, and China comes, Russia starts right here, and then here's China, And here in North America, we've got Canada on this right side and then the US down here. And we can see from about the middle of the country going east, we have the worst areas of methane coming up. Also in California, around the highly populated areas, we can see LA, this LA and San Diego region, and here this area up farther north is the San Francisco area. Anywhere you have high populations, you're going to have high methane. It's just the way it is. Now we're going to look at the Antarctic. I decided I've got to be tracking that too. We started seeing recently methane coming up around the coastlines of the Antarctic. And it's hard to see the coastline because of this dark blue color. Now the main color down here is this dark blue, which is 1800 parts per billion. The next color up, this light blue, is 1820. And see, we're seeing it come up all along this western peninsula. This is the Larsen Ice Shelf region all along here. And then on the southern part of this western peninsula, this is the Weddell Sea here. And look at this huge area along the Brunt Ice Shelf. That's the most dramatic, and it's coming up into the next color, which is 1840 parts per billion. Also here, this area is the Amory ice sheet, and you can see it coming up through the ice sheet, also around that coastline. It's also coming up on the southern part. Now this is the Ross Sea here. Here's the Ross Ice Shelf. So here on this western side of the Ross Sea, also on the eastern side, on these coastlines. Now Pine Island Glacier is right in this little cubby hole, and there was an article that came out recently about the Pine Island Glacier, how it's, keeps melting off and breaking off. Now, this last summer that they had, now it's winter down there right now, and it's all in the dark, but during their last summer season, it was pretty much cloud covered over this Pine Island Glacier region most of the time, so it's kind of hard to see the ice. There's that. Now we'll look at the global view. Here's Australia. You can see the edges. See, it's where the population centers are. You can see the methane coming up. Here's Perth down on this southwest edge. Here's New Zealand. We can see it streaming off of South America, and it's streaming off of Africa, and we're seeing the light blue kind of infiltrating more in the southern hemisphere. This is a sign of rising methane as well. Now we'll look at the 500 HPA reading. Look at this. So it's gone down 2 parts per billion this week. So the red has really kind of dissipated. There's a thin line of red going all the way across the Arctic, but see the red spread out. This came off of China, has moved over east and then up here in Russia. Here it's highest in India. We've got some higher readings in the southern hemisphere too, down here in Africa. Now we'll look at total column. Now, this is methane added up through all the layers of the atmosphere. And we can see it's highest here in northern India and over here in China. We're also getting some reds pop up on this Persian Gulf. We've got some red-orange here in South America. This is the next color up from the reds, and so that's Peru and Chile there, and Colombia. Okay, let's go back to our pictures here while we're showing CAMS pictures. This is sulfur dioxide from today. We can see it's still coming up here at Iceland. The volcano is still erupting there and hasn't really slowed down. Now the sulfur dioxide had kind of mellowed out for a while, but the last 2 or 3 days it started really a lot coming up. Also here, this has migrated over east of this Mediterranean Sea. This is from Mount Etna blowing up. It's been erupting this week. Here at 500 HPA, we can see the highest reading up here at Iceland. So that's where the volcano just shot up and released a huge amount of sulfur dioxide. Also down here in this little armpit of South America, there's this is probably volcano and earthquake related here. This is ozone. I haven't showed that in a while. This is the Antarctic view. This is from today on CAMS. And it's thinning. We can see the greens and the blue-greens here over the interior of Antarctic all the way across this western peninsula. The solid yellow is considered average, and that's 300 Dobson units. And then when it starts going into the yellow greens and the greens and the blues, it keeps getting thinner and thinner. So I'll keep everyone posted, especially if it gets lower than this. So that's all of those. Now before we head into sea ice, I want to go ahead and share these 2 articles They're both from the Barents Observer. This is out of Norway, and they do excellent reporting of things in the Arctic. There's a lot of Russian material on what the Russians are doing up there. In addition to other things, but so this is a ship that's started out. Trans-Arctic voyage. This article is recent, from the 14th. Ship set out on trans-Arctic voyage as spring comes to northern sea route. I will be reporting on these kinds of activities because this has to do with the sea ice retreat in the Arctic, and there are 3 different routes that have been planned through the Arctic as the sea ice retreats. This says, accompanied by nuclear-powered icebreaker Yamal, LNG carrier, that's liquid natural gas carrier, Nikolay Urvantsev, moves eastwards in this year's first transit shipment on the Russian Arctic Sea route. And there were 15 ships that went with this. 15 ships total set out. Here's a picture of the route. This is Novaya Zemlya. Here's the Yamal Peninsula. So it's mainly up here in the Kara Sea. This powerful 299-meter-long tanker on Monday morning sailed north of Dixon on Russia's Kara Sea coast, and the ship has the Japanese port of Sendai as its destination and is due to arrive on site on July the 7th. This year's first eastbound transit voyage on the Northern Sea route comes almost a month later than in 2020, when carrier Christophe de Margerie sailed from Sabeta in the Yamal Peninsula to the Chinese port of Jingtang already in mid-May. So it just depends on how the ice is and what their icebreaker capability is. So they're going to go all the way through the Arctic here. Says there's still plenty of ice in the area, and the Vilkitsky Strait and the southern parts of the eastern Siberia Sea have thick layers of fast ice. But it's melting fast, I have to tell you, and we'll see that. The Nikolay Urvantsev will be escorted across the route by nuclear icebreaker Yamal. The powerful vessel now waits for the tanker near the entrance to the Vilkitsky Strait. According to National Snow and Ice Data Center, the decline in sea ice across the eastern parts of the Arctic was slow due to much stormy weather in May and consequent big spreading of the sea ice pack. The average sea ice extent in May was 12.66 million square kilometers, which was 740,000 square kilometers above the record low for the month set in 2016 and 630,000 square kilometers below the 1981 to 2010 average. The ice edge is near its average location most everywhere in the Arctic Ocean except in the Labrador Sea and east of Novaya Zemlya. Anyway, I'm going to leave the links below so you can read this if you want to. All the natural gas carriers are part of the fleet of 15 vessels that serve the Yamal LNG project. They can carry up to 70,000 tons of liquefied natural gas and all have ice class Arc 7, which enables them to autonomously break through up to 2.1 meters of sea ice. Well, they should be okay. It's melting so fast. The fleet of LNG carriers are instrumental in Russia's ambitious plan for the Northern Sea route. In 2020, a total of 32.97 million tons of goods was shipped on the Northern Sea route, up 1.5 million tons from 2019. By the year 2024, the Kremlin intends to boost volumes on the NSR to 80 million tons and further to 130 million tons by 2035. So they're big plans. So this is where it's starting out, and then it'll go all the way across. So there's that one. The other article from the Barents Observer, I found this one really interesting. It's called Rock Slides in the Arctic, Why Do We Care? This was from June the 14th. And this is kind of long and involved, but we even see crumbling see this mountain next to the sea because there had been permafrost here that thawed out and didn't hold the rocks together anymore. So they're worried that as the warming continues, and then we have more tourists going up there, that they gotta worry about that. See, this is where this whole side is just coming apart, the side of the mountain. It says increased presence means increased exposure to rock slides and the dangers they pose. This highlights the need for better understanding of the linkage between rock slope stability and climate-driven permafrost degradation. So they're studying that. So there's that. Now, let's move on to, okay, we did CAMS. Let's move on. I'll go through my slideshow now. And I don't have anything from the Navy website for today. Their site was down. I could get on the main page, and then when I went to the Arctic page, it was loading and I couldn't get to the specific models, so for whatever reason. But that's okay. We'll still have a good report today. So here we are. This is sea ice and snow cover from Climate Reanalyzer for today. And look at how this Laptev Sea has opened up. This blue area, this dark blue, is no ice. It's really opening up fast here. This is Severnaya Zemlya. Right down here is Komsomolets, and here's Novaya Zemlya. Here's Yamal Peninsula. So this Kara Sea is opening up, We can see a lot of melting around Greenland and here in the Baffin Bay, Hudson Bay. Here's the Beaufort Sea. Now this is really thinning out, and this is a huge concern because this is where the thickest sea ice had migrated down over the winter time that was left. It was the thickest that had been left, and now it's consolidated here in the Beaufort Sea. So let's see what the sea ice has done this week. Here we were last Sunday on my show. We can see it was just really beginning to open up here in the Laptev Sea. So let's click through. So here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there it goes, Thursday, Friday, there it goes, Saturday, and Sunday. So just in the last couple of days, look at yesterday. Look at how it was a big V shape, and then here we see a little bit of ice here. Now we can see it open one day and a little bit of ice the next day, and has to do with the way the ice moves around here from day to day. It's pretty mobile. So there's that. Now we'll go on to National Snow and Ice Data Center. Here is the sea ice concentration for yesterday. The darker the blue it is, the less concentration it is showing. It's really melting fast. It's in high melt. See, this is the Laptev Sea. Here's the Siberia coastline. Here's Novaya Zemlya. Here's the Kara Sea. And see all these blues. That's in very high melt. Here's the graph at sea ice extent for yesterday. We can blow this up here. The blue line is this year. This dotted line is 2012, and we had been below all of the other readings until just a few days ago. It looks like 2012 has dropped down below this year as far as extent, but you have to remember that it was a lot thicker in 2012 than it is now. Now we'll go to the Antarctic, and here it is with how far back it's grown out on the extent, and it doesn't get super thick in the Antarctic, and it's a whole different kind of ice down there because it grows on the outside of the landmass, whereas on the Arctic is the water's on the inside. Here's our chart. Sea ice extent. Now, it started refreezing earlier than normal. Here, the blue line is this year. This dark gray line is last year, or the gray-green line. The light gray line is the average. And we can see that it's hopped back up. So the extent is above last year and above the average. So there's that. Here's Greenland ice sheet today, also from National Snow and Ice Data Center. And the salmon colors, that's where it's melting. This is as of yesterday, so we can see the sheet here on the west side and on the east side and all around the northern side as well. It's in melt mode. Here are the cumulative melt days for the whole year. You can see they're adding up here on this west side especially. Here's the melt extent. This red line is this year, the dotted line is the average, and it's below average. It's still in melt mode, but it's below the average. It had jumped up earlier, but now it's a little bit below average there. Now let's move on to Climate Reanalyzer. Look around the globe. This is maximum temperatures for today. We can see greens. See all these greens. This is air temperature. This is above freezing. We have a little bit right around freezing here between Franz Josef Land and Novaya Zemlya. Otherwise, it's freezing or above. And these white areas, look, see the southwest. We've got, and then here Africa, India. Here's 2-meter temperature anomaly for today. Look at this Siberia coastline. This is not looking good. And this is bad for permafrost thaw and for fires and also for the sea ice. So we can see it's going up into this pinky zone. This is about 24 C higher than normal here, right there on the coastline. Here's the Taimyr Peninsula, and so this is Laptev Sea that's opened up there. Here's the brown coming down on this west side of Canada, all the way down this west side of the United States. And then blue right next to that. I'm in the brown zone. We've been 100 degrees or above here in my area, Reno, for the last few days and been breaking records. Normally we don't hit 100 degrees until July. So we got browns coming down over western Russia and down into Europe here, and we got some reds down here in the Antarctic. Looks like over Pine Island Glacier. Then blues. See the blues right next to the browns, meaning colder than normal. Worldwide, we're in balance, believe it or not. Northern Hemisphere is up 0.5 C higher than normal. The Arctic is 1.3 C higher than normal. The tropics are up 0.2 C. Southern Hemisphere is down 0.4 C. The Antarctic is 3.6 C lower than normal. Here's precipitation and clouds. The green is rain. So anytime you see rain in these Arctic regions, you got to worry about the permafrost thawing out. I mean, it's good for the fires, you know, to help dampen the fires out, but it also means that if it's warm enough to rain, then it's warm enough for things to really thaw out. Here's the jet stream, or the broken up jet stream, the clumps. See the coming up here, that's got that warm air over there over Siberia. There it is, all broken up. Schizophrenic. We saw sea ice and snow cover here. See, it's really this whole Laptev Sea. I expect by next week all of this to be opened up. Now along the coastline it's a little bit thicker, so I imagine this edge here is going to be opening up here. I expect it to be in melt mode here in the Beaufort Sea. We're going to start seeing some holes open up over here, I imagine. Here's sea surface temperature anomaly, and wherever it's already melted in the Arctic, we're already starting to see browns. That means that the water is already warmed up, and so that means that the ice will melt that much faster. And then we're also in the danger zone for having a methane blowout from the sediments there. So already we're seeing browns like this is 2C higher than normal. And see the reds, reddish 4 and 5C. We're already seeing that here in the Bering Strait. Here we are worldwide. Now we've really got a problem worldwide with sea surface temperature. And see here in the Baltic Sea, it's already up into the red zone. In the northern Mediterranean up by France and Italy, it's already in the red zone. And then here around Greenland and off the coast of North America, we've got reds. Also in the Pacific from Japan on around. Look up here in the Okhotsk Sea, it's already in the brown zone as well. Worldwide, we're up 0.4 C higher than normal. Northern Hemisphere, North Atlantic, and North Pacific are all up 0.5 C. Southern Hemisphere is up 0.3 C. Equatorial Pacific is up 0.2 C higher than normal. So all of these are higher than normal. Now we'll move on to NASA Worldview. I'm going to turn on the blue marble layer so we can look at this model first of all without any clouds. Let's go back to last Sunday. This is sea ice concentration. Here we were last Sunday, so you can see the difference already. Wherever you see the colors, it's high melt. And where you see no colors, that's where it's already no ice. So see, it had already opened up a lot in this Laptev Sea last week. So let's just click through. Here was Sunday. Here we go. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Look at the Beaufort Sea. Look at that. Here's the 17th. Now Hudson Bay, see, it's coming apart too. Here's the 18th, 19th, and today. And look at all the way across this Arctic basin. That's not good. We can also, I've got another layer where we can look at sea ice. Oh, that one. I don't know why that one doesn't work with the blue. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Let's refresh. Here we go. Here it is today. Sea ice concentration. So this is like what we saw on National Snow and Ice Data Center. So the darker the blue is, the more it's coming apart and melting. Here's the Kara Sea. This is where the ships took off, and I'm not sure if they're probably going up this way, around Severnaya Zemlya. I don't know how close to the coastline they're going. There's still pretty good concentration here in the Kara Sea. We just don't know how thick it is. The Navy models really are good at showing us how thick. I mean, it's not more than a couple of meters thick. So can really see those blues there. Let's go back to last Sunday. Uh-oh. Let's refresh, see if we can get the data here. Nope, that didn't want to work. Okay, that's okay. We saw what we needed to. Let's go to today. So here we are on the satellite view. Here's Greenland, Canada is here. Here's Alaska. Up on this top part is all Russia. Here's Novaya Zemlya. Let's see. Here's Iceland. Here's right down on this tippy point area. This is where the volcano is going off. Can't really see that. So you can really see this ice sheet on Greenland. It's a good view today. So see the melt going on here. See, all of these will be flowing soon. Here's on this northwest edge of Greenland. This is the northern part of the Baffin Bay. Here's the nearest strait. We can see this is starting to come apart now. This is all opened up here. See, here's some just pieces of ice. This area by Greenland, that will melt soon. Let's go this way. Here's Svalbard. See, that's opened up here. That's ice-free there. Here we've got pieces of ice here. Here's Franz Josef Land. This is opened up. We've got a little bit of ice around on this left side. And we're looking through clouds. Here's the ice edge here. See? Here's Novaya Zemlya. Look at how this is opened up this week. And see, that's ice free. Here's what's left of this ice along the coastline of the Kara Sea. This is not real thick, so their icebreakers should be okay to go through that. Now this area in the Kara Sea, for whatever reason, this is still pretty concentrated. Here's Severnaya Zemlya. Here's Komsomolets right down on this bottom all around here. It's where we're seeing the methane billowing up on CAMS since January of last year. Here's the Vavilov ice cap. That when this ice melts, we'll be able to see the ice flowing off the ice cap into the ocean there. It's quite remarkable. Here's the Laptev Sea. This is open. Can't really tell because of the clouds there. There's the ice there. Look. So here's the coastline, and here's the coast, and here's a little ice shelf. The ice shelf, like closest to the coastline, it seems to be thicker, and is some of the last to melt up here. And now we can see it's already breaking up. Look at that. Here, these are the New Siberian Islands. See, this whole area is open. Here's the ice. Look at this. Now this lead opened up really early. And then here's Siberia over here. See, that's in high melt now. Wrangel Island. And here's the Bering Strait, and then we're around to Alaska. Look at how far in this is coming now. Here's the Chukchi Sea. Here's the Alaska coastline. We've got a little bit of ice still along Alaska from Barrow down here. And Canada starts here. This Amundsen Gulf, that's opened up. This is the Canadian archipelago. Here's Ellesmere Island. And then we're back to Greenland. Now, let's see what details we can see. Here's the Beaufort Sea. Now, see, this is opening up. See, it melts in between all these big pieces of ice first, and then it really starts to come apart. Look, that's opening up. Here's the North Pole. Here's the ice. Here's the edge. Here's Franz Josef Land. Let's go back. Let's go back a day or so. See if we can see. There's so many clouds, it's just hard to really really see much. Uh-oh. See that? Here we have, see, here's the ice breaking up. See, this is Ellesmere. Wait, no, that's Greenland. Here's Ellesmere. Now you can see this is melting. See the blue-green? That's melting, melting, melting. Now here's the Yamal Peninsula, the big liquid natural gas refinery area is over here on this side of the Yamal Peninsula. This is the Gulf of Ob. See, that's melting. They can get ships in and out of there, no problem. See the brown, that's sediment. Let's see if we can get a different view here. Yeah, well, it's really opening up here in this Chukchi Sea. So we'll be following this. Let's hop down to the Antarctic. I know it's dark. Let's see what we can see with this nighttime layer. Okay. Oh wow. Look at this. This is A76. This is that iceberg that broke off. Remember? Let's go back. See what we can see. It's moving out. Some days are better than other days. Here we were last week. Hard to see. On this nighttime layer, it just depends on the day. Look at that. Here it is. It's moving out and it's breaking up. Here's the Western Peninsula. Here are clouds. This is the Weddell Sea here. And This is the northern edge. Here's the Amory ice sheet. Now this is an area that methane's coming up. Let's see. See, that's open water. It's not frozen all the way up to the coast. See if we can see the Brunt ice sheet. No, that's, wait, I'm in the wrong place. Here we are, right up here, and it's along here. This is where the methane is coming up so profusely. Here we go. That's a pretty good view. See, this is the big piece here that broke off earlier this year. Right there, it's a kind of ice-bound. Then we've got methane coming up right along here. Here's the Ross Ice Shelf, Ross Sea, and also coming up down here. So there's that. Now let's move on and take a peek at earthquakes. I took these pictures this morning. We'll go through them. We only had 216 earthquakes worldwide this morning. It's gone way down. Kermadec Islands had a 6.3. See the big dot right down here? It was in the ocean. The lower 48 had 102 today. Notice nothing up here in the Pacific Northwest. Nothing in Texas, only like 1 or 2 here in Oklahoma. And so way down. It's just way, way, way down. Southern California is back down to an average number of 32. Searles Valley Ridgecrest had 16. The largest one was at 2.4 at Ridgecrest. Western Nevada over to Mammoth Lakes had 16, so that's down. Here on the San Andreas Fault Line we've got 8. This is from San Francisco south. We've got a few 2s in there. The largest was 2.2. Geysers is back down to about 27. Geysers area. That's about an average number. Here in the Pacific Northwest over to Yellowstone, we only had 2. A 1.0 in Lincoln, Montana, and a 2.2 at Stanley, Idaho. So a big difference there. Oklahoma only had 2, 2.0 at Ames and a 2.5 at Lucien. Puerto Rico had 22. This is looking at Mexico and Central America region. There was up here in Baja, in the Gulf of California, in between Mexico and Baja. This was 4.6. Aguajito, Mexico, El Aguajito. And then on land in Mexico was a 5.4 near Rizzo de Oro, and then down here was a 4.6 on the East Pacific Rise. We've been seeing activity here for the last few days. South America and South Atlantic, we're looking at 5 in this picture. There were 2 down here in the South Sandwich Islands, a 4.7 and a 4.9. And then here along the west coast of South America were 3, 4.3, 4.2, and 4.4. Hawaii showing 24, and mainly at Pahala. We've got a few around Kilauea, 2s and under. Alaska's showing 52 today. Here we are in the South Pacific. We've got 4 showing right when I took these pictures. 4.6 Fiji region, 584 kilometers deep. 4.3 Lakatoro, Vanuatu, 250 kilometers deep. Then 6.3 Kermadec Islands, New Zealand. And then a 5.5 Kermadec Islands, New Zealand. A 6.3 came in at 10:05 Pacific time this morning. I've highlighted the 6.3 here. See, it's right next to the red line. Here in Indonesia up to Taiwan, we've got 7 in this picture. 5.2 Pagar Alam, Indonesia. It's down here off the coast of Sumatra. 4.7 Banda Sea. 4.6 Pandaguitan, Philippines. 4.5 Sarangani, Philippines. 4.6 Ternate, Indonesia. And a 4.9 near Hualien City, Taiwan. And then we've got 1 on land at Hokkaido, Japan, and 5.4 near Shimo, Furano, Japan. That's all. That's all of those. Now if we look at the website, we can see what else has happened since those pictures. Let's look at USGS. That's all they're showing at Kermadec Islands. Now, probably a bunch of smaller ones are showing up on EMSC. I just track USGS. Occasionally I'll look at EMSC for certain things. This one just came in at 5.4 at Pagan Region, Northern Mariana Islands, 6:44 p.m. Uh, 235 now, so it's starting to go up. Look at this. We've got a new one here on the Juan de Fuca plate. This came in 3.4, came in at 5:10 this afternoon. Here's a new one on the Fulcrum Point, 2.8 Petrolia. Look at Northern California. This is picking up. 1.5 Shingletown. That's near Redding. And 1.1 Chester. This is next to Lake Almanor. Look at this. Southern Nevada. 2.0 Alamo. Got something going on down here. 2.0 San Simeon. Look at this. We've got a new one here in this Gulf of California. So now we have two, a 4.6 and a 4.1. Let's look at Puerto Rico 22 here. These are small. These are 2s, 3s, 3.5 is the biggest. Here's a new one. Okay, Oklahoma has 3 now. So they're picking up. So I'll finish up. I always like to finish up the show by reading out of the Bible. Brings a spiritual focus back to everything. I do believe we are living in the end times. This is one of the main reasons I'm doing all this reporting, to help show people where we are in the end times. And it was prophesied that in the end times there would be great earth changes, great earthquakes in diverse places, and great earth changes. So this is why I'm doing this. We're reading out of Galatians. I finished up 2 Corinthians this week and started into Galatians. These are Paul's letters to the Galatians. Galatians chapter 3. O foolish Galatians, who hath bewitched you, that ye should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Jesus Christ hath been evidently set forth, crucified among you? This only would I learn of you. Received ye the Spirit by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith? Are ye so foolish? Having begun in the Spirit, are ye now made perfect by the flesh? Have ye suffered so many things in vain, if it be yet in vain? He therefore that ministereth to you the Spirit, and worketh miracles among you, doeth he it by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith? Even as Abraham believed God, and it was accounted to him for righteousness. Know ye therefore that they which are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham. And the Scripture, foreseeing that God would justify the heathen through faith, preached before the gospel unto Abraham, saying, In thee shall all nations be blessed. So then they which be of faith are blessed with faithful Abraham. For as many as are of the works of the law are under the curse, for it is written, Cursed is every one that continueth not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them. But that no man is justified by the law in the sight of God, it is evident. For the just shall live by faith. And the law is not of faith, but the man that doeth them shall live in them. Christ hath redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us. For it is written, Cursed is every one that hangeth on a tree, that the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through Jesus Christ, that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. Brethren, I speak after the manner of men. Though it be but a man's covenant, yet if it be confirmed, no man disannulleth or addeth thereto. Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He saith not, and to seeds, as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed which is Christ. And this I say, that the covenant that was confirmed before of God and Jesus, the law, which was 430 years after, cannot disannul, that it should make the promise of none effect. For if the inheritance be of the law, it is no more promise, but God gave it to Abraham by promise. Wherefore then serveth the law? It was added because of transgressions, till the seed should come to whom the promise was made. And it was ordained by angels in the hand of a mediator. Now a mediator is not a mediator of one, but God is one. Is the law then against the promises of God? God forbid. For if there had been a law given which could have given life, verily righteousness should have been by the law. But the Scripture hath concluded all under sin, that the promise by faith of Jesus Christ might be given to them that believe. But before faith came, we were kept under the law, shut up unto the faith which should afterwards be revealed. Wherefore the law was our schoolmaster to bring us unto Christ, that we might be justified by faith. But after that faith is come, we are no longer under a schoolmaster. For ye are all the children of God, by faith in Christ Jesus. For as many of you as have been baptized into Christ have put on Christ. There is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Christ Jesus. And if ye be Christ's, then are ye Abraham's seed, and heirs according to the promise. Galatians chapter 3. So I'll be praying for everybody. If you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, I recommend you do it now before it's too late. I love you all, and until next time, God bless you, go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.